Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2, part 1 of the Ruthless Aggression podcast. Now, what we're going to do for this episode, it's not quite SummerSlam yet, but what we're going to do is cover the Raw and the Smackdowns between Vengeance and SummerSlam. So, we're your hosts. My name's Dave. I'm going to be the Eric Bischoff of this evening. I'm going to run through Raw, and the other host is, I suppose, is Stephen McMahon. This is CJ. How are we doing, CJ?
I'm not so bad, thanks.
No, I'm not so bad, thanks. Thank you very much, Dave. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing this. I think for the fans, this is something a bit different for them. Keep you all invested, if you will, in the timeline and let you know what's going off between all the characters.
No, definitely. I think it's a good thing to know exactly what's going on between Vengeance and SummerSlam and keep everyone, and especially for me and you, as we've discussed before, it's these things that are going to pop up in these next couple of episodes of Raw and Smackdown that we're going to go through that I can't remember, and it's nice to go through once more. Right, so we're going to kick off with the Raw after Vengeance. It's the 22nd of July. Raw kicks off with Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. They've been moved from ringside to the stage area. Eric Bischoff, he comes into ring for a promo. Triple H comes out. He says that he's going to bring out his best friend, Shawn Michaels. Bischoff then introduces the combination of Triple H and Shawn Michaels. And then he officially names Shawn Michaels as the manager of Triple H. And HBK says Bischoff clearly doesn't know him very well. He's all happy and well being his manager, but he's only going to do what he wants to do. And he storms off. Then Bischoff tells Triple H to run after him to get Michaels back and get him back on side. Eric Bischoff still in the ring. He announces that he's going to unify the Intercontinental title and the European title. He says that Rob Van Dam and Jeff Hardy will battle in a ladder match. Suddenly, the two championship belts are lowered from to the ring from the roof, and the match starts straight away. Rob Van Dam, he retains the IC title, and the Euro title is now retired. It's last time we're ever going to see the European Championship, and it's last time to this present day that we've ever seen the European Championship. D'Lo Brown and Shawn Stasiak, they approach Eric Bischoff about getting some time on Raw. Bischoff tries to blow them off, but the two are quite persistent. Bischoff says he'll give them 3 minutes on Raw. He says he better entertain them. The next match that we have is the intergender match of the evening. It's Bubba Ray Dudley and Trish Stratus versus William Regal and Molly Holly. Quite an odd sort of match where William Regal puts the Regal stretch on Trish, who taps out, and obviously giving the win to Regal and Holly. In the ring, The Rock, Eddie Guerrero comes out. He asks The Rock who he thinks he is. Eddie says that he has a problem with The Rock, and he says that he has 2 kids that idolise The Rock. And he said that he noticed that there was a picture on the kid's bedroom wall of The Rock. He says he ripped the poster off the wall and burned it. He says that he has to discipline his kids, and he demonstrates how he scolded his kids. Rock interrupts and tells Eddie that he shouldn't treat his kids that way. Rock says that he's seen all of Eddie's movies. He even asks which one he was. Was he Cheech or Chong? Which I found was quite funny, to be fair. Eddie then says he's got the hottest mullet in the world. He said he should even call it the people's mullet. The Rock says it looks like Billy Ray Cyrus had sex with a retarded hyena. I loved The Rock during his peak, during this time, with his promos. Absolutely brilliant. Eddie says he's tired of being disrespected, and he challenges The Rock to a match tonight. As The Rock leaves, Brock Lesnar's music hits. Brock and Paul Heyman come and they walk right past The Rock as if he wasn't there. Rock does his usual, turn around, stare at them, raise the eyebrow. That leads us on to our next match of the evening, which is a Singapore cane match between Tommy Dreamer and Brock Lesnar.
Boo!
Which is an absolute unbelievable pairing to have in a bizarre match like a Singapore cane match. Lesnar pins Dreamer after the F5. Then The Undertaker runs in with a Singapore cane and smashes Brock with it. Lesnar retreats with Heyman. And then we get to our next match with D'Lo Brown and Shawn Stasiak, everyone's favourite meat. Bischoff says he gives Stasiak and D'Lo 3 minutes to entertain him, but 1 minute in, Stasiak goes for a rest hold armbar. Bischoff says, what the hell was that? The 3 minutes expire, and Bischoff said they should have entertained him. Suddenly, 2 huge Samoans jump the rail and attack D'Lo and Stasiak. The Island Boys have finally debuted on WWE. This is Ekmo and Chemo, who were massive on the independent scene at the time. The 2 Samoans, they beat the hell out of Stasiak and D'Lo. JR and King, they pretend to not know who they are. We hear Bischoff ordering production crew to show the announce team. Bischoff joins JR and King at the announce position. Unfortunately, this is starting to look and feel a bit more like Nitro, especially with, I don't know what you think about this, CJ, if you just want to jump in, with the fact that the announce table has been now moved up to the stage and Bischoff's joining the team. It's very much like Nitro.
Yeah, I just never knew why. I never got why they did that. I don't understand. I don't know if it was to try and make Raw seem different to SmackDown, or I just don't really know why they did it.
No, I think as soon as they realised the mistake, it didn't happen that long. I think we only see about a year in our timeline, and then it disappears again back down to ringside where it belongs. So the next match then that we have on this Raw card is the Big Show versus Spike Dudley. Spike's being forced into the match by Eric Bischoff. Big Show demolishes Spike Dudley in about a minute. And in the ring we have D-Generation X, or is it? So the familiar music of DX hits. Michaels and Triple H, they're in their shirts. They're doing a little promo. Halfway through, Triple H about to ask people if they're ready to suck it, which looking back as an adult is still quite bizarre. He just pedigrees Shawn Michaels, lays him out, and he just leaves and just walks up the alley, leaves Shawn Michaels lying in the ring.
I sort of saw, even at that age, me personally, I sort of thought it was going to be coming, because I just can't. I've never ever imagined Triple H being a good guy. He just doesn't play it very well. He's better as a bad guy.
Totally agree. So we lead to the parking lot where there's Triple H there. He leaves the arena in a limo. Then another limo pulls up and the window rolls down. Stephanie McMahon, a beautiful little head pops out. She tells a crew member to tell Bischoff that the competition has arrived. So it leads us to a main event of the evening. It's a non-title match between WWE Undisputed Champion The Rock, won the title last night at Vengeance, against Eddie Guerrero. Absolutely brilliant for a main event match in Raw. Rock defeats Guerrero after quite the match. Brock runs down. He takes the Undisputed title belt away from the referee. Rock gets down and goes face to face with Brock. Brock holds the belt in his hands and Brock puts the belt out for the Rock to take it. Rock doesn't reach for it, so Brock aggressively throws the belt to the ground and he leaves the ring while Rock watches him walk up the ramp. So we get to our final little segment of the evening. We're in the parking lot with Eric Bischoff and Stephanie McMahon. Bischoff asks Stephanie McMahon if he's here to slap him in the face. Stephanie says she's here to kick Bischoff in the testicles, which, well, WWE at this era, don't we love it? Bischoff goats Steph out of the limo and pretends to do karate, which I used to love Bischoff. He used to do little karate moves. Then Steph takes a step back and she says, and then Bischoff says, go ahead, kick me in the testicles. She goes, I will. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman turn up and walk straight into Stephanie's limo. Stephanie gets in, they drive off, Bischoff screams at the departing vehicle, and Raw goes off the air.
Yeah, well, that just sounds like an absolute epic episode of Raw. Just all the sort of little matches that we've got involved there, all the little segments we've got there. Again, mentioning the talent pool, just can't get it better. And the end, I mean, why can't we have that anymore? Why can't we have endings to Raw or SmackDown as epic as that? Okay, so it's the first SmackDown edition, the July 25th, 2002. The opener for this SmackDown edition is Kurt Angle versus Mark Henry. Little match here, a bit of a squash match in my opinion. Late in the match, Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman run down and nail Mark Henry.
He's here, look. It didn't take him long to appear.
So the referee calls for the DQ finish. Brock gives Mark Henry the F5. Brock and Heyman leave the ringside area. Angle gets up and runs back to confront Brock Lesnar, and the winner by DQ is Mark Henry. Yeah, Mark Henry gets his ass kicked, but still ends up winning the match. So it's a win-win, to be fair. But anyway, we move backstage. Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman are all there. Angle gets in Lesnar's face, and Lesnar tells Angle that he's no longer the top guy on SmackDown. A steamed Kurt Angle storms off. So obviously that straight away is setting up an angle, no pun intended, Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar. It's setting up an angle straight away for Brock Lesnar and Angle to feud later on. The second match we've got going is Devon Dudley with Reverend Devon Dudley with Batista against Hello Ladies, Val Venus and Hardcore Holly. Late in the match, Batista tries to interfere, but Hardcore Holly attacks him. Val Venus wins after a fallout powerbomb. Venus and Holly celebrate after the match. Batista sneaks up behind Val Venus and spears him. Holly goes after Batista, but the damage has been done.
That sounded horrific. Reverend Devon as a character, horrific. I just don't know who's that. You can't even blame it on Russo because Russo was long gone. It's just an awful thing. I don't get it. And then when they paired him with Ron Simmons, well, Farouk, but they called him Ron Simmons. And you would just had Ron Simmons walking around saying damn to everybody. And Reverend Devon trying to get everyone to pray. And then you got Big Deacon Batista at ringside. That's one thing that I despise. I remember it like it was yesterday. It's one thing I despised about the brand split was splitting up the Dudley Boys.
Yeah, of course, I completely agree. It was just it didn't work. I don't know whose idea that was, but no, Bubba and Devon belong together. They're a tag team. They're not singles competitors unless you're on TNA and you call Bully Ray. But that's another story.
Yeah.
So then we're going to the next match. It's Rikishi versus Albert. Rikishi wins after the stink face. Oh God, I miss the stink face. He does the Savat kick and a bonsai drop, and Rikishi dances for the crowd like a monkey.
Can I just cut in and say my show sounds so much better than yours so far? Honestly. I'm hoping, from what I remember, things get a lot better, but at the minute, my show is dicking all over yours at the minute.
Oh, a bit of rivalry here, huh? Yeah, I completely agree. So far we've had some guy who's a reverend. We've had a big fat guy giving people stink faces, and we've had Albert there as well, which we all know about. It's just Albert in it. Who wants him on the roster? The next match is the tag titles match. Whoa, first tag title match since Vengeance, and it's Lance Storm and Christian in the Americans, who have got Test with them, against Hulk Hogan and The Rock. Ooh.
Whoa.
That sounds like an interest. You know what? Now we're stepping off our game. SmackDown, we're stepping off our game now. Test continually interferes in the match. It doesn't do anything else, really, does he? Late in the match, just as Hogan is about to pin Christian, Brock Lesnar runs down. Lesnar gives Hogan the F5. The referee disqualifies Storm and Christian. Winner by DQ, Hulk Hogan and The Rock. Now, what is Brock Lesnar doing? Why is he doing this? I know he's trying to prove a point, but why would he come down and, annoys Kurt Angle, then annoys Hulk Hogan? What's it? It's not the smartest of things.
Because it's Brock. And did anyone actually think at any point that Hulk Hogan and The Rock were going to win those tag team titles?
I know you can't see me, but my hand is going up right now. I would definitely say I think that the Hulk Hogan and The Rock, man, they're just like a mega tag team, mate. That's a whole different story. I mean, but look, you've got Shawn Michaels HBK on your show. I've got Hulk Hogan and The Rock, man. I've got Hulk Hogan and The Rock on SmackDown. Next segment, we go into the parking lot. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman are in there. Lesnar and Heyman try to get into a waiting limo, but the driver stops them. The driver says that this is Hulk Hogan's vehicle for the night. Lesnar tells the driver to open the door for him or he'll beat his ass. And then Lesnar and Heyman get in and they drive off. Oh, dear. Next match, we got Test versus John Cena. Test's already been on. The interfering Test is now against John Cena. John Cena upsets Test with a surprise victory. Ooh! After the match, Test gives Cena a big boot to the head because he's a sore loser.
Cena's on a winning streak.
Oh, God. The start. This is the start of it, guys. This is the start of it. He's on
It's 2002 people, and Cena is on a 3-match winning streak.
Oh, God. Okay, so the next match, we've got the I believe it's the main event, steel cage. Late in the match, Jericho pulls a steel chair into the cage. Jericho whacks Edge over the head with the chair. Edge kicks out after a 2 count. Edge hits a desperation spear on Jericho. Edge begins to climb the cage. Jericho chases him. Jericho hits a bulldog from the top rope on Edge. Jericho climbs on the top of the cage and rests on top. Edge climbs up after him to pull Jericho back. Edge gets Jericho on his shoulders and falls back into the ring from the top rope. Both men take a while to get up. Well, you would, wouldn't you? Jericho crawls towards the door as Edge climbs the cage. Edge drops near the top to beat Jericho to the floor. The anti-Americans come from nowhere to attack a bloody Edge outside the cage. To toss Edge back into the ring where they joined by Jericho. Beat on Edge. So the Americans now have joined with Jericho.
The Canadians are beating on their fellow Canadian.
And then, get it, wait for it, John Cena runs down to help to beat on him too. Suddenly, Rey Mysterio runs down and scales the cage. Mysterio lands atop the cage looking down at Storm and Christian, and Mysterio leaps like nobody has ever leapt before off the cage onto Storm and Christian. Tess grabs Rey and tries for the powerbomb, but Rey reverses into a Hurricane Rana. Mysterio and Cena double dropkick Test. Mysterio grabs Christian and throws him into the rope so Cena can backdrop him. Mysterio punches Jericho, knocking him down. Edge throws Storm into the cage. Storm pulls himself out of the ring. Jericho sneaks out over the cage. Edge, Mysterio and Cena celebrate in the ring now, and the show goes off the air.
Well, it's the first SmackDown that we've watched of this era then, and John Cena comes out to try and save the day. Overall, half-decent SmackDown. Personally, I don't think it was nowhere near as good as Raw. But
I'll have to disagree with you there, Dave. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not being funny. You get Brock Lesnar walking into a limo. On this show, you get Brock Lesnar, and you also get a steel cage main event that's worthy of a WrestleMania main event, in my opinion. That was amazing. Such a good ending to SmackDown. Sorry, mate. Raw's got to do some catching up, in my opinion.
The 29th of July episode of Raw. And Eric Bischoff, oh my God, he introduces the newest members of Raw. It's Test, it's Lance Storm, it's Christian. The Un-Americans have arrived on Monday Night Raw.
Oh my God. When did this happen? Obviously,
it happened
back in
tonight
2002.
on Monday Night Raw, motherfucker.
Oh my God.
The boys have come to the red brand. The trio come out waving an upside down American flag. Absolutely genius. Do you know where we discussed a bit ago about creative? This is the good side of creative. Lance Storm, Mr. Personality himself, he cuts down several so-called American icons like Elvis, Marilyn Monroe, and Babe Ruth. Christian says that every American teen can list every Britney Spears song, but not the Bill of Rights. Suddenly, Shawn Michaels comes out onto stage, and he demands Triple H. Shawn Michaels says that he's going to exercise his right to beat Triple H from one end of the arena to the other. Bischoff says HBK will have to wait because Triple H isn't here yet. Test calls HBK a has-been and tells him to get lost. Look at Test growing a set.
Dave, I'm getting sick of Test at the moment. I'm getting sick of him. He just interferes and everything and goes boots people in the face and doesn't get his own way. I'm sick of him.
He doesn't actually do anything. He's not really part of the Un-Americans because he's not involved in any storylines. He just appears, hits someone, and celebrates the victory. Sean says the Canadians, this was brilliant. Sean says the Canadians don't like him because he smacked around Bret Hart. Sean tells Bischoff to either bring Triple H to him or he'll find him and drag his carcass to Bischoff. So that leads into the opening match of the evening. We've got Booker T versus Eddie Guerrero. Exactly what you'd expect from two very solid workers. Booker T wins with a scissors kick. Very surprising. Eddie Guerrero again. I know it was against The Rock last week, but he's now lost 2 in a row. Following from last week. Now, I didn't realise, not about you, CJ, that intergender matches was a thing so much back then. Because following on from last week's Raw, we have another intergender match.
Wait, in the intergender match, are they allowed to
hit each other?
The girls can hit the blokes can hit the girls?
Yep, so to briefly cover from last Raw, William Regal put Trish Stratus in the Regal stretch, and that's how he won. So this week's match, we have Trish and Bubba Ray Dudley against Molly Holly and William Regal. Molly comes out and says that William Regal is injured. She says she found a suitable replacement. Well, it's the big show. Trish looks like she just shat his head. Exactly the same sort of match as last week. Very just what you'd expect from one of these style of matches. It ends with Trish winning, covering Molly for the victory.
Now that you think about it, looking back, they were entertaining, the intergender matches, but I'm sort of glad they don't do them anymore. Because it is, I don't know. It just seems when you just said the Big Show came out and pound, potentially. I think of it as if it was my girlfriend and she had to go in the ring.
That's the same. It's the Big Show's going to come out and Trish Stratus is going to get his hat on. And for some reason, I don't know, I can put myself back in 2002, sat watching this thinking, yeah, he's going to sit on her. So that leads to our next match, which is the hardcore title match. Now, it's 2002. It's July. The 24/7 rule is still in effect. And oh my God, do we not know about it? It's Bradshaw versus Jeff Hardy. This is big Texas Bradshaw after he split up with the APA. Looking like an extra out of a cowboy film. Now, Jeff, get ready for this. Because this is about to pick up a bit of speed. Jeff hits a swanton bomb on Bradshaw. He covers him to win the hardcore title. Now, Johnny the Bull. Remember Johnny the Bull Stamboli from WCW? He then enters and nails Hardy from behind and pins him to win the hardcore title. Bradshaw then gives Johnny the clothesline from hell and pins him to recapture the hardcore title. Tommy Dreamer then runs in with a Singapore cane and whacks Bradshaw in the head and pins him to win the hardcore. Oh my God, I had enough of this in 2000.
This is awesome. I love the 24-hour rule. I absolutely loved it.
But 2 years straight and it's still going on. Where's Crash?
I don't know. Is he still, like, God rest his soul, is he still alive at this point?
Yeah, he got drafted.
All right. I don't know where he's then. Oh, I'm quite intrigued to see when you know what, I'm actually going to mark out when Crash shows up now.
Where's Crash? Because that needed Crash. And where was Stevie Richards with a Stevie kick? That's what that needed. That needed Raven with a trolley. Stevie Richards with a Stevie kick. And a Crash Holly to come in and win it with a trash can lid to make that like the perfect match.
Yeah.
So then we get an Intercontinental title match. It is Rob Van Dam versus Chris Benoit. After an extremely hard-fought match, Benoit pins Rob Van Dam with his feet on the ropes for leverage, and we have a new Intercontinental champion. It's Chris Benoit. And then we get to the next match after the adverts, and it is Undertaker versus Chris Nowinski. Undertaker defeats Nowinski quickly with the last ride powerbomb. The anti-Americans then come out and attack the Undertaker. Now, just to briefly touch on it, Chris Nowinski, I don't know what you can remember from back then. What did you see him with his Harvard Law School character?
Oh yeah, I remember quite a bit about him. I thought he was a good character. He's basically the 2002 version of David Otunga, but they could have done so much more with him. I think to this day, right now, if his character, they'd given him a better gimmick. He had the build, he had definitely had a look. He had long blonde locks, and he just, he had that sort of WWF WWE build. So if they gave him a better gimmick, I think he could still be wrestling now. Personally, he could have achieved a lot more.
Well, he couldn't be wrestling now because he had to retire. He had a concussion.
What?
It comes up.
Oh, so is that why he does?
Yeah, it comes up in about a year. Well, it might not even be that. It could be 6 months. Gets really bad concussion, has to retire, and then decides to, because he's quite a clever bloke and his Harvard gimmick was like a portray of his real life. He did graduate from Harvard. He's quite a clever dick. And he start looking into brain science and sort of the impact and the effect of concussions on sports athletes. So then we have Triple H in the ring. He tries to give an explanation why he pedigreed Shawn Michaels last week. He says he was the one who wanted Shawn Michaels to be his manager. He said that Shawn Michaels couldn't stand not being the one in the spotlight. Triple H says that it's now him who's the showstopper and it's him who's now the icon. He says that Shawn Michaels' career in the ring is over. He says that all HBK left is his pride, and he says that HBK's pride will only get him hurt. The stage manager then tells Triple H something. Triple H leaves the ring immediately in a hurry, runs backstage. He finds Shawn Michaels unconscious in a pool of blood surrounded by Raw wrestlers. Triple H sees a vehicle with a big hole smashed in the side of the window. He kneels down beside Shawn Michaels, tells somebody to get help. They're loading Shawn Michaels into an ambulance. Bischoff grins at Triple H and says, "I heard you played dirty, but I had no idea how." Triple H denies having anything to do with this. So then we lead on to our main event of the evening. It's The Rock versus Ric Flair, which is a kind of, I don't know if you've got any thoughts on this, CJ. The Rock versus Ric Flair is a kind of a mega ultimate, to me personally, it's on the same levels of Rock Hogan at Mania, of star power from Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I'd agree, but I don't know. There's something. There could have been a much better build between those two, as I did for Hogan Rock. But I just think that Flair, even though he is one of the greatest of all time, but he's not Hogan, is he? Does that make sense? He's not Hogan.
Nobody ever will be. So Rock versus Ric Flair, very back and forth match. Not the sort of level that, well, as I just said then, it I see it as quite a megastar match, but it's not a pay-per-view, it is only Raw. So you see a dumbed-down version of what they could both do on a pay-per-view. Rock wins with the rock bottom. He pins Flair to win the match. And then Flair stays in the ring and says that he's got an announcement. So he's walking around the ring with the microphone, preparing himself. And then he's quickly interrupted by Chris Jericho's music. Jericho sneaks up behind Flair and nails him with a major chair shot to the head. Jericho takes the microphone and says the only important announcement to be made is, from now on, Raw is Jericho! Raw goes off the air with Chris Jericho smiling.
Not an amazing finish, in my opinion. I think
it's a bad end to the pay-per-view compared to how we had it last week.
Yeah, I'd say that the ending to that should have been the segment with Shawn Michaels being attacked in the parking lot.
Definitely.
I think that'd be more like a casualty-esque finish, like more dramatic. Like who did it? Who shot JR? You know, that sort of ending.
Well, it would have made me want to tune in next week.
Yeah, but
I don't know if I'm quite invested in Ric Flair and Chris Jericho yet.
Just a really quick one here, but you had The Rock and Ric Flair in the same match together. Ended up with Jericho finishing the match, finishing the show over Ric Flair, and then The Rock's not involved. What's going off there? Okay, so now the B show's over. We're now back onto the A show.
You will always be the B show. Always be the
August
B
the
show.
1st, 2002. We've got the next edition of the SmackDown shows from me, Stephen McMahon. The opener is Rey Mysterio versus Tajiri. Tajiri gets a crazy amount of offense in during this match. Rey wins after a top rope Hurricane Rana. Wow. That's a good match.
Love Tajiri.
Love him. Tarantula, awesome. Green Mist, awesome. And the next match we have Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman versus Mark Henry. Brock wins after a belly-to-belly suplex, followed by an F5 on Mark Henry. Just let that sink in a minute, guys.
Is that not 2 weeks in a row?
Not the belly-to-belly, no. The F5, yes.
The F5, yes.
Brock and Paul go backstage and run into Hulk Hogan. Brock tells Hogan that he hopes he beats Kurt Angle tonight because he really, really wants to fight the Hulkster next week. Oh, Hulk Hogan and Brock Lesnar.
They are pushing Brock Lesnar to the stars.
Yeah, this is worse than the Roman push that Roman Reigns is getting here. Look at this. He's just getting... He's
everywhere. He's absolutely everywhere.
Next match, Kurt Angle versus Hulk Hogan. Late in the match,
wow.
Angle gets the ankle lock on Hogan. Hogan reverses the hold and kicks Angle. Angle falls backwards into the referee, knocking him out. Angle goes outside the ring and gets a steel chair. Angle runs towards Hogan, who lifts his foot and kicks a chair into Angle's face. Hogan hits a leg drop and goes for the pin, but no referee. Brock Lesnar runs down and Hogan punches him off the apron. Angle picks up the chair and again whacks Hogan in the back with it. This time the referee saw it and disqualifies Kurt Angle. Angle begs the referee not to disqualify him. Angle goes after Hogan again. Oh, here we go. Hulk Hogan hulks up for the crowd and goes after Angle. Brock reaches in and trips Hogan. He doesn't like punch or anything. He trips him. Brock enters the ring and gives Hogan the F5.
Yes.
Yes.
It's 2002. Fuck you, Hulk Hogan.
Next match is Rikishi versus Devon with Batista. Reverend Devon with Batista. Oh my goodness. So all the gimmicky guys are all getting put together in a match now. Batista repeatedly interferes in the match. Rikishi pulls Devon to the corner and Batista runs into the ring. Rikishi's Savat kicks Batista out of the ring. Rikishi wins the match after a banzai drop. Rikishi gives Devon the stink face after the match. Batista comes in the ring again and gives Rikishi a spinebuster. Devon hits a headbutt from the top rope for good measure. Wow, so he gets a spinebuster and a headbutt for his troubles, poor Rikishi. So at this moment in time, Dave, Batista, where are they going to go with that guy?
Put my 2002 head on, my God, I hope they do something with him. Batista's the only shining star of oh my God. Reverend Devon again.
Jamie Noble and Nydia are in the ring together. Noble says they won the Cruiserweight title so they could say they were better than all you rednecks. Noble says that nobody is showing them respect. Noble and Nydia go outside the ring and confront Michael Cole. Noble says he saw Cole eyeballing Nydia. Noble says it's Cole's lucky day and tells Nydia to give him some sugar. Nydia crawls over the announce table and straddles Michael Cole's lap and tries to lick and kiss him. Cole tries to resist the attack. Noble tells Nydia to ram her tongue down his throat. Nydia kisses Cole big time. Noble pulls Nydia off, calling the crowd a bunch of perverts. Noble tells Cole to start talking good about them, and there's a lot more in store for him. Wow. Michael Cole. That sounds like rape, to be fair. That sounds a little bit like rape, in my opinion. Next match is John Cena versus Rico.
Oh, here again.
Cena wins the match.
Hey!
Cena gets up and slaps Rico in the face. Billy and Chuck run down and attack Cena. Billy and Chuck hit their version of the Doomsday device on Cena.
We've got to keep a tally. That is now Cena is 4-0.
4-0, guys.
4-0
so
is John Cena.
The Doomsday device, for all you people who may be new to the podcast or don't know what it is, that is made famous by the Legion of Doom. That's where one person gets their opponent on their shoulder and the other guy does a clothesline off the top rope and takes them off their shoulder. Really well. Looks awesome. It looked awesome. I don't think it looked as good now.
The Steiner brothers did a good version.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. Steiners were more, I think, they were more athletic. Especially Scott Steiner back in the day. He was very athletic.
Oh, with all his flip-to-doos. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But then he started taking a certain drug and just his arms looked ridiculously like triangular.
Yeah. I don't know how to put it. Just children, don't do drugs, please.
Yeah, don't do drugs. Oh, you look like Scott Steiner. You don't want
Scott Steiner.
that. In the ring, Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie comes down staring at Bischoff in the front row. Steph pretends not just notice Bischoff in the front row. Steph says it's very clear that he purchased his own ticket. Steph tells the crowd that Edge and Rock are not facing each other tonight. Steph says that the two will be a team tonight. Steph says Edge and The Rock will take on the newly acquired talent tonight. Steph introduces Eddie Guerrero and Intercontinental Champion Chris Benoit.
What?
Ooh!
Benoit's one of mine. Hang on, you took a champion. That's not fair.
Yeah, Bischoff jumps the rail and tries to get into the ring. Taz points out that this is not the first time Guerrero and Benoit walked out on Eric Bischoff. Oh, stab at WCW right now.
Oh, salty.
Two security guards snatch Bischoff and drag him from the arena. That's pretty interesting. That's awesome that we've got Guerrero and Benoit as a tag team.
Well,
very awesome.
I've now got the Un-Americans, which I'm quite happy with. But the fact that I've lost Benoit,
Main event, Edge and Rock, the undisputed champion versus Guerrero and Benoit, with the Intercontinental Champion being Chris Benoit. After a long, exciting match, Brock Lesnar makes his way to ringside. Rock sets Benoit up for the rock bottom, but spots Lesnar out of the corner of his eye. Benoit sneaks up behind Rock and slaps the crippler crossface on the Rock. Rock is forced to tap out to Benoit.
Ooh.
Lesnar backs up the ramp, not taking his eye off the Rock, stops on the stage. Suddenly, Hulk Hogan comes out behind Lesnar and whacks him with a steel chair. Oh my God! And SmackDown goes off the air. Again, great ending. Sorry, great ending SmackDown.
I'll with you so far. We're 2 for 2. And I'd probably say my first Raw killed it with the ending, and you've just destroyed me since.
Yeah, they've got some... SmackDown are just doing really well here.
Endings. You're showcasing the skills of Albert and Rikishi and Reverend Devon and Val Venus. Let's be fair. Talent-wise, I'm killing it. But ending-wise, there's a reason I want it. It is the Brock Lesnar show. It is very much the Brock Lesnar show at the minute. It's SmackDown, but I'm not complaining.
Hang on a minute. Not only have we got Brock Lesnar, I've got The Rock here.
Yeah, no one cares about him.
I've got Hulk Hogan. I've got Edge. I've got Kurt Angle. I've got Chris Benoit, and I've got Eddie Guerrero. Mate, sorry, who you got? Triple H, Shawn Michaels, basically.
Yeah.
And The Undertaker.
Yeah. And the excuse me, and the Un-Americans.
Well, the two Un-Americans who are... One's got absolutely no charisma whatsoever. The other one's got a lot of charisma and can actually wrestle. And then the other guy who just runs in and... Well, just test.
Ric Flair. Rob Van
We've
Dam.
already had this discussion.
Jericho. Big Show. Bubba Dudley, Bradshaw. I've got Texas. You wish you had Texas Bradshaw.
Okay, mate. Okay.
So then, that's the end of part 1. We've had 2 Raws and 2 Smackdowns. CJ, thoughts?
Yep. At the moment, I think my show is the A show at the moment.
Let's
Your show's the B
not
show.
get carried away.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next segment that we do for you guys.
No, definitely. So thanks for listening, guys. That was episode 2, part 1. Part 2 will be coming up shortly. Don't forget, follow us on SoundCloud. All our latest content's on there. We're now also on iTunes, so don't forget to subscribe, leave a rating or review. That'd be massively appreciated. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You know where we're at. Just search for RA Era Podcast. Thanks for your time. My name's been Dave.
My name has been CJ.
Until next time, peace out, people.